Yahuah uses the luminaries, specifically the great luminary, to set the years. He doesn't rely on a Gregorian week to establish his Sabbaths. He sets his creation week firm in the heavenlies. And I'm going to try to explain the two cycles that we see in Scripture, Enoch and Jubilees. But first, let's establish that Elohim said, "Let lights come to be in this expanse of the Shamayim, to separate the day from the night, and let them, the luminaries, be for signs and appointed times, and for days and for years." Now, Genesis doesn't say what each luminary does, but in Jubilees 2:9, Yahuah makes it very clear. "And Elohim appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days and Sabbaths and for months and for festivals and for years and for Sabbaths of years and for Jubilees and for all the seasons of the years." And in Enoch 74:12, "And the sun and the stars bring in all the years exactly, so that they do not advance or delay their position, but by a single day unto everlasting, but complete the years with perfect justice in 364 days. Wisdom of Solomon 7:18 says that the calendar is determined by movements of the sun. And it's really cool because when you take a really good look at Enoch and Jubilees, it's actually showing us two cycles. And Jubilees is showing us the cycle of creation week. And Enoch is showing us the counting of months. And I have tons of scripture that prove these two cycles out. It's really, really awesome. And if you'd like them, I'll send them to you. Just ask. Enoch 74:11 says, "And the excess or overplus of the sun and the stars amounts to 6 days in 5 years. 6 days every year comes to 30 days, and the moon falls behind the sun, and the stars to the number of 30 days." So Enoch is giving a little bit of an equation here. 6 divided by 5 equals 1.2. And so that is the excess of the solar cycle, because Yahuah's calendar is 364 days. Well, the solar cycle is 365.24 days. And so we're getting this 1.2 days of excess, rounding. We're getting that day of excess. And that is where the divider day comes in. This divider day separates the last day of the year to the first day of the year. It just splits it up perfectly, and I'll show you. So this is creation week, when Yahuah created everything in 7 days. Right before this happened, Genesis 1:2, there is a day of void, of nothingness. And we have that, and we have found that this is the divider between the 364th day to day 1. We need this in the calendar to keep our creation week intact. Because when the straight line shadow comes in, we need to know where it is. So this divider day is marked by equal day, equal night in the land of Israel. And that happens every March 16th. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 days later, when some people like to call it the equinox, but I'm veering away from saying that. It's the straight line shadow seen all throughout the world. And on this day, if we had a temple, it would light up, and the glory would shine into the pillars on the temple. So when equal day, equal night happens, we know that the first day of creation week, not the first day of the year, but the first day of creation week, that's going to hold our day 4 center branch on the menorah. And you see how all these other branches are all curved? That's because if you go and track the sun every single day, it will either be curved, or twice a year it will be showing a straight line. Okay, so this is the day that we want to really understand, because this is going to kick off our counting of months, because this is when the sun, the moon, and stars were created. So this is not day 1 of the year. This one's going to be day 1 of the year. So when this sign happens, this year it came in on a Thursday, we are going to hold the day 7 of creation week Sabbath, right? The straight line came in. This is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. We're holding creation week's cycle Sabbath, but we are counting our months when the sun, moon, and stars were created. I hope that makes sense. So this is how the 2 cycles work together. We have day 0, which is equal day, equal night. That was the divider day. And then we have creation week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is going to go on and on and on through the counting, and it's going to hold our Sabbath in place. And again, in this creation week, we have the day that the sun, the moon, and the stars were created. And that is the equinox, or I like to say it's just the straight line. When, if you go out and track it, you'll be able to see the sun's straight line on that day. This pushes this to a different cycle. That's going to be day 1 of the week. And this cycle is going to go on and on and on and on to we get to, I'm using months here because our months are 30 days each with intercalary days, the Noah ordained days. So this cycle, we have our straight line, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, our Sabbath day is kept. That's our first Sabbath of the year. And then it's going to go on until we get to our next Sabbath, and it's going to be on the 11th of the month. And that's when we get to the 14th, which is Passover, which is going to be on the 3rd day of the week. And that is how everything is held perfectly. And so back to this is going to be our 364th day, 0, and then it's going to be counting. This is going to bump into our counting of months. The 0 comes down, and this day is a day of void. So this is going to be our 28th day of the month, 0. It's also going to be our 52nd Sabbath. And this could be found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So after the 52nd Sabbath, a day is added. Then it's going to go 29, 30, 31, intercalary day. Boom, you have your monthly count. So the weekly count, the monthly count. Jubilees talks about this weekly count. Enoch talks about the monthly count, where we have our Sabbaths and our feasts. This would be Passover. So that's how we get Passover being on the 14th, and it's on the 3rd day of the week. It's not on a pagan day of the week, it's on the 3rd day. So we can't let the Gregorian calendar or weekly cycle dictate how we keep our Sabbaths, because it doesn't always come in on a Wednesday, because we have the other Zadok group that wants to claim the equinox day and then move it to the first Wednesday, but that's not in scripture. That's not how Yah works. So Saturday's Sabbath is of the Jews. and Sunday Sabbath is of the Christians. We gotta get back on the